unfortunately, it was on the wrong side of that. So.
I do think the plan there was the worst center in the league is Zeke, but I think the plan there was to pretty much hit Turpin and let him pitch it to Zeke. But Zeke got decleated immediately, bro. That was terrible. And it's crazy because, like, what is it, like 1 second on the clock, whatever? Obviously, Dak. Hold on, let's rewind. What's going on, everybody? The Dallas Cowboys fall short in the divisional round. Another season, another disappointing loss, man. How you feeling?
How I'm feeling, man, terrible, man. I feel like we supposed to came in here with the energy. We one game away. It just felt like, man, we were so close, man. It was a very winnable game. I think that's the most irritating part about everything right now. And then, for all the Cowboy Nation, I know it's a lot of mixed emotions, right? Felt like we go through this every year. I know we always talked about, like, hey, no matter what happens through the season, we know we got the talent, right? You know what I mean? The ups and the downs. But when we get here, let's just make it happen, man. And unfortunately, I gotta put this one on deck. You know what I mean? It's a lot of blame that can go around where you want to place it. But I think for the most part, I think the defense played lights out, right? That everybody, all across the board, I thought the defensive line, Micah, they had the energy. But, they held on as much as they could, I think when Tony Pollard went out, the dynamic of the game changed. And fortunately, I think we all was together at that point. We was like, Dak, okay, now that Tony Pollard is all, like, what will you do, man? Can you solidify yourself? Can you put the doubters wrong? What's going to happen here? Kellen Moore, what type of game plan? And will you come up with? And truthfully, they want to answer the bell, man. It's unfortunate. An embarrassing way to go out, especially the way that game ended. You get Turpin blown up, Zeke blown out. This is embarrassing all around, man. All jokes, the trolls, we deserve it, man. We deserve it all, man. But we here. We still got playoff football to enjoy, man. So the sad part is, the Dallas Cowboys out. The good part is we still get to watch some football, man. So
I will say a couple things. Zeke is the worst center in the league, without a doubt.
Yeah.
We thought maybe Biadasz wasn't that good a couple years ago, whatever, man. No, we got a worse center on the roster. But in all seriousness, man, do I think the better team won on Sunday? I don't. I think the healthier team won on Sunday, man. And unfortunately, the Tony injury really shifted things because we were just unable to run the ball, man. However, we could have used a little Malik Davis in there, man, because I do think he could have provided a spark. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and I'm probably pretty sure that wasn't even in the game plan whatsoever, man. Kellen was probably really going to lean on Tony in that game. And an unfortunate injury. I think you said, he broke his fibula?
Yeah, fibula, high ankle sprain as well. About a 3-month recovery. You know what I mean? Fortunate for him, man. He having a career year. You know what I mean? It's a bad thing, man.
I do think, too, Dak, man, at $40 whatever million, you got to do better than that, man. We paid you to do what you did the week before, not what happened this week. But at the same time, man, I think Kellen Moore, man, I think he's old news. I don't think that his ability to call plays works, man. I think that he just looks at his play sheet and he's like, well, this looks good, that looks good, but he's not setting anything up. He's not calling this to call that later. We've seen that a few times throughout the years, but he doesn't really plan for the next drive or the next play even. It's third and whatever, and he's like, okay, we'll do this here. But I think, man, I feel bad. I feel real bad for Micah and those boys who were, like, really, really beat up playing their ass off Sunday night, man. I know that was a devastating loss. I don't want to go in there and, like, play the blame game with the referees. They made some good calls and they made some bad calls. It's a tough job. But also we could do better. I mean, Tyler Smith holding. But I don't even blame that on him, man. Why do we not have tight end help on that side? They're lining Bosa up in front of your rookie tackle, man. You're not going to give him any help. That doesn't. Where's the love at? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's when I just, like, I sit there and I think about the common denominators and everything that was going on. And we could point out like one or two plays from everybody where you could say, "Oh, Tyler Smith." You know what I mean? You had a false start, you had a holding call here. Trayvon Diggs. If you had made a game saving in this interception, or if you had hit Kittle coming across the middle, what could have been? You know what I mean? But the main thing, if you take it all together, I felt like the defense played a great game. I felt like the offensive line, they played a great game. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of pressure on Dak. He didn't get sacked a whole lot of times. I put this one square on his shoulders, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. I just truly like you spoke of before, man. You paying on this money, and this is kind of the situations that we really want to see him thrive in. You know what I mean? I just thought outside of yeah, he had the interception to Gallup. I put that one more on Gallup. The second one was squarely on Dak and Kellen Moore. The second down and two. Why even spread it out? I know you lose the top Tony
Right.
Pollard in that situation. Why spread it out? Dak, why risk it though? You know what I mean? And just a bad read. A momentum shifts, and you know how the playoffs go. It's just a game of momentums, man. You just don't allow a team like that to, at that point, get back in the game, go back down the field, score. You getting the ball back at halftime. Just a terrible decision, on his part. And then even on the catches that um, he did complete well, throws, you know what I mean? CeeDee Lamb with the circus catch. It was a couple throws where I'm just feel like just lead the guy a little bit more, and it's a touchdown. And I just got the feeling that, deep in the second half, I just knew like the first team that scores a touchdown here is going to take this game. And unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
the San Fran, their defense was holding up, our defense was holding up. But at some point, Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, they answered the bell. And for whatever reason, man, that we'll continue to talk about, Kellen Moore and Dak, they just couldn't figure it out at the end of the game when it mattered the most.
No, there was definitely plenty of missed opportunities. For example, the fumble recovery from McLeod. We didn't turn that into points. We just went 3 and out right there.
Thanks.
And I believe that right after we punted the ball there is when they put their 6 on the board, man.
Also, the Turpin return touchdown at midfield, no points out of that either. So
Right. And then no, missed opportunities, like you said, leading CD, scoring points off of turnovers. Because if I told you Monday morning, man, that we were able to hold that offense to 19 points, you would think we won. You know what I mean?
thanks. But if you told me Dak threw 2 interceptions, I would have said, "Oh, okay, we lost."
That's
you
fair.
you
That's
can't
fair.
you can't give a team like that chances, and the momentum in a big game of that magnitude. So like you said, the
And,
defense did what they should, and it's on that.
and you did mention the 2 turnovers, but I do believe they only got 6 off of the 2 turnovers, man. I believe we held them to field goals after the interceptions. And that's phenomenal because they got the ball in plus territory. So, like, the defense was playing lights out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Micah, man, he was having a day. Donovan, Osa, like, they all look good out there, man. And then on the other side, I do think D'Amico Ryan did have a good game plan. Like, they disguised the blitz very well. But on the other side, man, Purdy was under a lot more pressure than Dak
Dan
Prescott
Quinn
was.
called a hell of a game. Hell of a
He did.
game, man. Sucks because he called one of his better games, and he's probably stacking that on his resume on the way out the door right now. So that sucks, man.
Unfortunately, you're probably right about that one. I know it's tough to win a game that you're going into without confidence in your kicker. We saw the block kick, and unfortunately, it's a good thing it was blocked because he was about to miss the hell out of that kick.
Boy.
But he did redeem himself later on, man, and I hope he can shake that out going into next season. Because I'll take Maher back, man.
Yeah,
We can use
My
Maher.
had a great year, man. Sometimes you get the monkey on your back and you get in your head, and it was an extra point thing. But I do feel like if the Cowboys had just gave him the opportunity to kick a 50-yarder, 60-yard, these are the things that he thrived off the whole year. So just because
Confidence
I
building
know,
kicks.
yeah, I know, like give him a confidence build. I know in reverse it says like, hey, if he can't make a 10-yard or 20-yard kick, how would he make a 60-yard, 50-yard?
Mm-hmm.
But this guy thrives at long kicks. You know what I mean? This is what he does. So it's like maybe we should have took some chances. I know it's easy to say, hey, if we kicked that first kick, you know what I mean? Maybe Tony Pollard doesn't get hurt, or maybe Dak doesn't throw the interception. There's so many things that we can do if, ands, and buts about. But, you know what I mean? Let's give San Fran props, man. Listen, great ball club. I thought Shanahan, the difference between a good coaching staff, I don't even want to mention the defense coordinator. I thought Dan Quinn and DeMarco Ryans both called a good game plan. But a difference between Shanahan and a Kellen Moore was evident. Like we was to flip flop the two, and I feel like if Shanahan had the Dak, and the Pollard situation, how would he had adjusted? And I think that's the major thing for Kellen Moore because he just doesn't adjust. Like he has the play calls, he has all these different schemes. I don't even think it's the scheme. I just think he has a hard time adjusting the situations. And when Apollo went out, you see a D'Amico Ryans adjust his game plan. You see all his adjustments, but did Kellen Moore ever adjust? Did Dak ever adjust to not having a number 2 guy? For us, it just seemed like feed CD, feed CD, feed CD. And CD had a great game, but then it kind of reminded me of, like the Rams with Cooper Kupp, like where, a guy's going to get 10, 15 catches, 120 yards. He's going to ball out. But who else are you scared of outside of that guy? So to me, it seemed like the San Fran knew, like, yeah, they're going to force feed CD, but who else is going to beat us? And there was nobody that could. It wasn't Zeke. It wasn't a Noah Brown. That damn sure wasn't a Michael Gallup who,
Right.
It sucks, man.
And it's crazy too, man, because when Tony went down and every time Zeke got the ball, man, just like in my head, I was like, just imagine if we could see one of those old Zeke runs right here.
Yeah.
Like prime Zeke takeoff.
Like, remember that shoestring tackle where it was like going through the hole, it was 5 yards? I'm just like, damn. Like, if that's Tony Pollard, that's the difference between a 5-yard tackle, you know what I mean, or a 60-yard home run right there. It's the difference right there. Nothing against Zeke, but he looked like he's running in the sand right now. He back in, what was it, Cabo? Or whoever he was. Yeah. He's still in Cabo right now. He ain't never recovered since, man.
No, of course. And it's unfortunate, too, because, like, obviously he's not what he used to be. And we did lose probably our second best, probably our best playmaker in Tony Pollard very early on in that game, fairly early on in that game. And that did shift things for us. But like as you said, man, defense played lights out. Tony Pollard went down, and then they were able to sell out for the pass, man, because they knew their front seven could just handle Zeke,
Yeah.
Like, you can't run the ball outside with Zeke. It's all going to be up the middle, so just bunch the front and see what happens.
I mean, but who do you put that on? You know what I mean? Like, is like we talk about the blame game, and like Dak, obviously he didn't have his best game. It wasn't the worst game, but you can't have a game like that in the playoffs when it matters the most. Like I said, CD had a great game, but when you think about everything and the gist of it in the overall aspect, I think it all shoots back to this offseason. And I know we hate to talk about it, but I think losing Amari Cooper, it reared his head, man. You want another guy to take the pressure off of a CD or a Dak or, those type of players that just know how to get open, that can take the pressure off of everybody. And we didn't have that guy. It was CD and it was Tony Pollard for us all year long. We could sprinkle in like a Gallup and Noah Brown just to make the tough occasional catches every once in a while. But when you lose your most explosive guy, you don't have anybody else on the other side. You just, who does that fall on but Jerry Jones in this front office, man? It's unfortunate. We signed Michael Gallup back coming off an ACL injury, thinking he would be the same guy. I'm not surprised it didn't happen. You know what I mean? I'm not ready to move off of him just yet. It wasn't his fault. I just think more time, a year off his ACL. It normally takes a year. Losing those guys, but I think on the flip side of it, we never found a replacement. I'm not mad at the Amari Cooper move as far as losing him, but I think we didn't find a viable replacement, and that's what irritates me the most. Because you sign a guy like Dak, you give him this deal, don't take his weapons away. Give him a chance to thrive,
right?
You know what I mean, and earn his money that way, man. Don't take it away and tell him, hey, it's on you.
And to be honest with you, thinking about it, man, if Tony's your like most versatile player as far as like what he can do when he gets in space, the second one on this team is going to be Kevontae Turpin, and if you've got to have some designs in there for him, we don't need to use him if Tony's there, but if Tony goes down, find a way to get your most explosive players the ball, man. And the only thing we had designed for him was some dumb little stop route at the end of the game. Man. That was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. What was more embarrassing, the way the last play of the game ended last year or this year?
I don't know. It's the both of them. This year takes the cake for sure.
What?
Bro, when I see it, hey, listen, I'm watching it. I seen Tony Pollard get his ass blown. Bro, this was like 15. This was like 5 seconds. Like at least last year, we had the whole Dak is running. We're like, what's about to happen? We got this year. It was like
there's some excitement.
I was like, I had to look
You
over.
see
I'm
Zeke
like,
get picked up and put down, and then
man,
Turpin just whop.
and I felt bad. Turpin is like $150. He got his ass smoked.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing way to go out. We'll hear about this going into the next year. Like I said, we deserve it, man.
Bro, I never want to see that play again.
Nah, it was bad, man. I don't think it was supposed to go that quite like that. But shout out to D'Amico Ryans. I think he said, listen, he seen what happened. He said, just blow that shit up. You know what I mean? And
right.
Unfortunately, it was on the wrong side of that. So.
I do think the plan there was the worst center in the league is Zeke, but I think the plan there was to pretty much hit Turpin and let him pitch it to Zeke. But Zeke got decleated immediately, bro. That was terrible. And it's crazy because, like, what is it, like 1 second on the clock, whatever? Obviously, Dak, hold on, let's rewind. Schultz didn't even get his second foot down, bro. What was that?
That's embarrassing.
That was
man.
boneheaded.
Yeah.
Not to mention the boneheaded penalties we got stuck with, but I do think, obviously, Dak can't throw the ball that far. So in that situation, I'm like, obviously, there's something with Turpin here because if you can get him in the open field, maybe he can do something. So that was a nightmare.
Yeah, we just always go out in the most embarrassing way, unfortunately, man.
That shit sucks.
It sucks. It sucks, man. But listen, we got a lot to talk about this offseason. Just to kind of clear the air with everything, man. We do have a good foundation, right? We got a good foundation. We got a lot of moves that need to be made, and it'll make for a very fun off season, just not this part of it. I didn't quite expect to get in a draft season this fast, man. But we have the Zeke situation. We'll figure out how that play out. Will we get some weapons? The defense, losing to Dan Quinn, what would that do moving forward? But I mean, we have a lot of options. A lot of things that we can kind of balance out to see how we can improve this football team. And fortunately for us, we're not too far away, but we do have to do a lot to improve, man. You look at teams like the Eagles and the team we just lost to, San Fran. The difference is between us and them is we sat on our hands and we say, hey, we like our guys, right? We went into the year with a Dennis Houston at wide receiver 2 and Noah Brown at 3, and it took us mid-season to go and sign a Jason Peters and all these different things that I felt like if we was a little bit more aggressive, would have been all right, man. This bargain bin shopping stuff is okay, but you look at the teams that's still here. The Eagles, they went and made their moves. You know what I mean? And shout out to them. No shade given. They went and they made hella moves to get there. You see San Fran, they was sitting at 3 wins on the season. They still went out and got a guy like CMC who just fortunately for them, just kind of flipped their season all around. So I think this year, seeing a look at that, I think, we got a lot to improve on, but how aggressive would Jerry Jones get this year, man? He talks about it a lot, though, but we'll see.